Well, hi everyone, and welcome to the Infinity Futures Daily Trading video. My name is Raleigh White, and I'm here to talk to you about the trades we took in our live trading room on Wednesday, October 22nd, 2014. Well, looking at today's economic calendar, we can see there were a few things on tap that we needed to be aware of. At 7:30, we had the release of core consumer price index data, which came in lower than expected at 0.1% versus an estimate of 0.2%. Then at 7:30, we also had the consumer price index data released, and it was slightly higher with a value of 1%, 1/10 of a percentage point versus an even forecast. Then at 9:30, we had the release of crude oil inventories, and they came out significantly higher than estimated, with an increase of 7.1 million barrels to inventories versus a forecasted increase of only 2.8 million barrels. Now, as far as today's pre-market sentiment was concerned, things were somewhat mixed coming into the open. Now, the Asian markets did close higher on Wall Street gains, so the sentiment in Asia was brightening after Wall Street's rally yesterday and after the European Central Bank indicated that it might be looking at a bond purchase program as soon as this coming December. We saw that the best performing market in Asia was the Japanese Nikkei. It closed up 2.6% on strong export data, and Australia closed up 1.1% on a rebound in the mining sector after an increase in gold and iron ore prices. On the flip side, though, we did see that the Chinese Shanghai market closed down 0.6 of a point at monthly lows and ahead of the flash PMI report, which is due out tomorrow, and on a slip in the real estate sector. Now, as far as the European markets are concerned, they were open and trending higher on ECB stimulus hopes. Now, sentiment was improving in Europe on reports that the European Central Bank may start buying corporate bonds as soon as December. But these gains were capped by concern that nearly 11 banks may not pass the recent ECB stress tests, whose results are due out later in the week. We also saw that the Bank of England remains divided over what to do with interest rates, as two members have stepped forward and have voted for a rate hike in October. As far as the United States is concerned, Wall Street figured to open up mixed after the release of the consumer inflation data. Now, the futures were flat coming into the open despite the higher global markets and after the modest gains in the CPI report. On the corporate front, there were a number of key earnings schedules to come out today, including from Boeing, Abbott Labs, Dow Chemical, Biogen, GlaxoSmithKline, Grumman, and others. So the focus for many U.S. investors today would be on the crude oil inventory report coming out at 9:30, the release of third quarter corporate results, and then shifting to tomorrow's flash manufacturing PMI report. As far as our trading activity is concerned, we attempted 6 entries in the market, and we were filled on one of those in the crude oil market. But before we look at the trade in any detail, I do need to remind everyone of this following important disclaimer, and that is that trading futures involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. You should carefully consider whether trading is suitable for you in light of your circumstances, knowledge, and financial resources, as you may lose all or more of your initial investment. And always remember that past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Well, turning to the charts, let's begin here with the E-mini Dow market, and we can see here right at the open of the trading session we had 1, 2, 3 bars moving higher, followed by 1 bar retracing, and I was hoping the second bar was going to retrace and give me a long entry at 126.70 just above the lower Bollinger Band, but the market never came my direction and I had to take that trade off. I now want to take a look at the gold market, and we can see here also right at the beginning of the trading session we had 1, 2, 3 bars moving higher, followed by 1 bar retracing, and I was hoping this second bar was going to retrace and give me a long entry here at 1243.4, but the next bar filled and prices moved away from me through my what would have been my profit target, so I had to take this trade out of the market. The next market I caught my attention was the E-mini Dow market. Looking at this market, we can see after the market opened, we were close to the end of the trading session. We had 1, 2 bars moving lower, followed by 1 bar retracing, and I was hoping the second bar was going to retrace above the previous day's high and give me a short entry right here just below the upper Bollinger Band, but the market just never went through the previous day's high, fell away, and I needed to take that trade out of the market. My attention then shifted to the E-mini S&P 500 market, and we can see here that we had 2 bars moving higher, followed by 1 bar retracing, and I was hoping the second bar was going to retrace and give me a long entry at 936.5, right above the lower Bollinger Band, but it never came in my direction, moved away from me, and I had to take that trade off, which now brings me to the crude oil market, where we did see a couple of attempts and my only fill of the day. Right off the bat here, shortly after the open, you can see that we had 2 bars moving lower, followed by 1 bar retracing, and I was hoping the second bar was going to retrace and give me a short entry here at 82.97, right below the upper Bollinger Band. The market came within 5 ticks of my fill, but then fell away, and I had to take this trade off. Now, staying with the crude oil market, towards the end of the trading session, you can see we had 2 bars moving lower, followed by 1 bar retracing and a second bar retracing, and this gave me a short entry at 82.36, where I was risking 10 ticks to make 10 ticks on this trade. I really like this entry because I figured that the upper Bollinger Band would be good protection between my entry and my stop loss. I got my fill. The market moved maybe a couple of ticks against me and then turned around and started to move in my direction. When it moved 5 ticks in my direction, my stop loss moved to break even, and then I trailed the market lower by 5 ticks, ultimately watching the market come right into my profit target, which enabled me to pick up 10 ticks on this trade, or $100 per contract traded. That was my goal for today, so that concluded my trading activity. So just to recap, we had 6 attempts in the market, 1 fill here in the crude oil market, and I picked up $100 per contract traded, and I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of opportunities might present themselves tomorrow. Well, looking at tomorrow's economic calendar, you can see we have probably what is the busiest day of the week so far. At 7:30, we have the release of the weekly unemployment claims. Then at 8 o'clock, we have house price index data coming out. At 8:45, we have the publication of the flash manufacturing PMI report. At 9 o'clock, we have Conference Board leading index data being released. And at 9:30, we have natural gas storage information coming out. And it also is the first day of the European Union Economic Sentiment Summit. So I'm hoping at this point in time, given the number of reports that we've got, that we're going to get some volatility we can take advantage of and make it an interesting trading day. So with that, thank you so much for watching today's daily video. I wish you a pleasant evening. I look forward to speaking to you tomorrow. Take care and good night.